Hello and welcome. I decided to try something a little different when I was dyeing a warp. This time, if you can see right now on the table, I have a nice chain, some purples, and then it goes into some reds, a little bit of a pinkish color. And if you noticed, it's still all chained. Typically when I dye my warps, I unchain them and I put them in different containers and then I let it soak. This time though, I decided I'm gonna see what happens if I keep it chained. I did soak it like I typically do in soda ash, and then I put dye in it, all different colors, and we'll see what happens when I unchain it. So hang in there while I separate the chain and we'll see what happened. All right, we're gonna start at this end. Start taking it apart, still a little damp, and you can see there's some lighter areas already, which I thought might happen. They're not totally white, but they are lighter than maybe I want. So we'll keep on going, kind of showing you the separate areas here. Yeah. I've already made a decision that I have some dye, and I'm gonna lay this out in a moment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dye these sections. So let's keep on going. Kind of see all the pretty colors. So much fun. Again, this is Tencel 8.2. That is the section that's the red, kind of the red color. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to spread this out, and then I'll show you what I'm planning on doing. And then we'll do the other section since it's a different color. I have this all spread out, and I have some white spots here. What I've done is I've mixed up, I have some of this, what they call amethyst color, kind of hard to see there. And I have a little bit of, I'll get another color here, this kind of an orange. And actually this jar has a mix of all these colors in it. I'm going to take the amethyst right now, and I'm going to go into some of the sections. I'm just going to take a little bit of this and press it in. I'm going to allow some of this to stay white, I guess is what I'd say. And I'm just pushing it in. It was already soaked in soda ash to begin with. And right now I'm not being that concerned about having soda ash, the whole thing soaked. And what I'm going to do is do a little bit of this at a time, where I like the areas to be colored. And when it goes on the warp, it'll be all kinds of fun colors on it. Now I can press it in with my gloves and take just a little bit out. The way I do it now, it won't run everywhere if I do a little bit at a time. So I'm going to fill in the spots with the amethyst, and then I have this mix. I'll come back here. Hopefully you can see it from the camera. I'm going to take some of this, which is a little brown color, and mix that in areas. Then what I'm also going to do is I have another color that's kind of a more of a red color. I probably will mix some of that in as well. But as you can see, I'm going to fill it in different spots here. Then what I'll do is I'll take my plastic and wrap it up and let it soak. I'm going to finish up with this, doing what you just saw me doing. Then we'll go over to the purple. I'll share with you what this looks like after I have all the dye on. All right, take a look. It's all finished. And I'll zero in a little bit on it. And you can see there's still some white spots. A couple of sections. Oh, another section down here. However, I'm going to allow that now. I'm going to wrap it up like I said, and then I'm going to go to the purple side, purpley blue. All right, I have the blue, purple, green side opened up, and as you can see, I have a lot more white spots. That's because I probably chained this a little bit tighter. I'm going to zero out a little bit and show you that I have actually mixed up 3 colors. Now the one is basically leftover of all the colors that are here. Then I mixed up a little bit of the, it's kind of a purpley blue color, and then some of the more of a turquoise. And what I'm going to do, let's start with the turquoise here. There's a lot of area here that I'm not fond of that much white. I like a little bit showing through. I'm doing the same thing I did with the orange and red purpley section. I'm putting this in, and then what I normally do is I will then squeeze it in, move it around a little bit. I'm going to allow a little bit of white in there. This is again something I have not done. It might look like a little bit of a tie-dye. So that's the turquoise. Let's take a little bit of this blue, put that in. Actually, it's a purple. It's one of those that it reminds me of indigo, if you've ever dyed with natural indigo. And in the water, it's this green color. And then when you lift it in the air, it turns blue. This is the same thing. It looks blue in the water, and once I put it on the yarn, it turns purple. Kind of a magical color here. Again, I'm going to keep pulling a little bit on that. And the other color that I have is a mix of everything. So I have a lot of that. It's really dark. It's almost a dark navy blue that I got on that. I may end up mixing up another color. We'll see. But right now, I'm happy with the colors that I have to use. And like I did on the other one, I'm going to finish this, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all finished. And I am all finished. I'll zero in a little bit on that. There's still some lighter spots, but I'm happy with what I see. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to wrap this up, let it soak for several hours, then I'll rinse everything out. The next thing you will see, it hanging out on my porch, drying. And here is the warp all dried and wrapped. And you might be wondering, what is she going to use to weave with this? Well, I actually happen to have something on my shelf to weave with the orange colors. But what I did was I did dye some yarn to weave with the purpley blue green color. And here's what I'm going to weave with. I do have a larger cone of the kind of a terracotta color. I'm going to use that to weave with the center, that part of the warp. And the other is a mix of all the colors, the blue, the green, the purple, all of those colors. I ended up with kind of a blue-gray, and that's what I'm going to weave the other part of the warp with.